Well, welcome back to my shop. I know that I said in the channel update video that I was going to try and make a lot more content for the channel, and I haven't, so yeah, I'm a hypocrite. But the simple reason for that is that I haven't really felt like making anything. I do these videos sometimes when I feel like it, and I just haven't felt like it. That's the simple reason. But today I feel like doing another update for the channel, and hopefully this time I really mean it when I say I'm going to start doing a lot more content. But the thing that I'm most excited about showing is the shop right now. If you can remember how the shop looked like during construction in my last, or it's not last, but yeah, in my last channel update video, how the shop looked like while we were building. And right now I have done a lot of work on the shop, and I'm getting really happy with how it's turning out. So let's go and have a look. Well, here's the new addition to our shop, all done and already filled with crap. As you can see, I painted the floor with some kind of epoxy based floor paint, just because it makes it so much easier to keep the floors clean and dust free, and oil doesn't stick to it and everything like that. As some people asked, where's the Gas 52? Right now it's still standing here. Nothing has been done to it. And yes, I know it's long overdue that it should have done, but the simple reason is that why it hasn't been done is because the frame has to get sandblasted. And I don't have a good enough sandblaster to do it myself. And finally I found someone with an industrial sandblaster who is interested in helping me out and sandblasting the frame. But he is only going to do it in the spring when the air moisture dries up and everything like that. So right now, over the winter, it's standing here. And the next step is going to probably be in spring, just before spring, early spring, to take the cab off, lift the gearbox and engine out, and I'm going to have to see what parts I leave on, what parts I take off when it goes to sandblasting. When it comes back, the first thing I've got to do is just paint the frame and then start putting everything back together, and then start painting on the cab and everything like that. Well, here's my daily driver Range Rover. The seater is inside here, protected from the elements. I did do a video on the straight exhaust that I did to a seater, but to be honest, there was so much wind noise in that video that I decided there's no need for me to upload it, because no one can hear anything. Maybe you can hear in the GoPro head strap test that I did. Maybe you can hear it there. And well, here's our boat that I've got to fix up and service over the winter. Here we go into the old part. Here's the engine from the boat. It's one Yanmar YSE 8, I think it was. Yeah, that I've got to rebuild and service, and yeah, I don't know. Usually I like engine rebuilds, but this one I'm not looking forward to it for some reason. It's in quite bad condition because it's got straight through seawater cooling, and yeah, I'm afraid to open it up. I don't want to know how the cylinders and cylinder liners look like after all the water. As you can see, I painted the floor in here also, but I didn't paint the middle part here because or the reason this paint is some kind of epoxy plastic paint, and welding, this floor paint, it melts on high temperatures like flame and welding and everything like that. So I left this part unpainted so I can weld on it without being afraid of making the floor paint burn up. I moved the grinder over here. I've got my small lathe that I restored. It's a Soviet TV16, yeah, TV16 lathe that I restored and used for quite a while, but now it's not really seen any much use. I am going to have to do some modifications. It's got brass bushings that it runs on, and it's not the best. It works, but the problem is that as fast as the brass bushings or the spindle gets heated up from friction, it's going to expand, and it's going to friction even more, and it's going to, then the more you run it, the worse it's getting. And I'm planning on, when I'm getting hold of a mill, I'm going to mill out the brass bushing holders and just press in ordinary ball bearings or roller bearings or something like that. And yeah, I've got a crappy Chinese drill press that, well, stalls out instantly. It doesn't have any power, no need of talking about it. I have moved my workbench from my other workshop over to here and cleaned up the steel surface with the angle grinder and a flap disc. Moved the assortment boxes up here, and if anyone's looking for any tips to do in the workshop, label and sort all your bolts and nuts. It's so much easier. You need an M10, you go grab an M10. You don't have to go digging through the drawers. I know I have a lot that's unsorted, but still I have at least something sorted that I can take from and use. I have moved the press. Oh yeah, you haven't seen this. I got a 20-ton shop press. Got all my welding equipment home from my other workshop. Then I invested in a big enough air compressor, and this is also one of the best things I've ever bought. A big beefy air compressor that really you can work with, and with a little shelf here to keep all the air tools and my radio, because I like listening to music while working. I got an warm air pump here. I don't know what the real English term for it is, but it keeps a constant 10 degrees Celsius in here constantly, and it's really nice according to me. And the main thing that I really like, that I am really excited about and have been for a long time, and you probably have already seen it in this video from the corner of the video, but I'm trying to avoid showing it, is I finally got myself a great big lathe. Yeah, this is my little ball right now. Right now I've got the chuck off it because I was taking some measurements of the spindle nose taper, because I have bought a new 4-jaw chuck for it, precision chuck, and I'm going to have to fabricate a backplate to the chuck to adapt it to this kind of quick attach system that I've got on this. This lathe is Soviet, some call it 1D95, but it isn't a 1D95. This lathe, it looks exactly the same as 1D95, but it's actually the designation of this lathe is 16B20P, Universal Thread Cutting Lathe. 16B, 20B universalne ja интересная станок. And yeah, I have already done quite a lot of work on it, as in turning, because I've been looking for a lathe for a long time, and I was dead set on getting an 1K62 Soviet lathe, but I didn't find any good ones, and then this one popped up, and it was, to be honest, in such a good condition that I don't really need to do anything to it. I just cleaned it up, cleaned the ways a bit. Of course there's wear on the ways. It's an old lathe from probably a ship or something like that, but for me it's good enough, and I'm really happy with it. It's really powerful. And that brings me on to the next thing I would like to talk about. What would you guys be interested in seeing on this channel? I know a lot of people are interested in GAS52, but until spring I can guarantee there's nothing going to happen to it before spring. And in spring I'm going to have to see when I get time to work on it. But the thing that is I'm wondering if people are interested in lathe videos about working on the lathe, if people would be interested in either just seeing projects being made on the lathe, like I set up the camera and turn and talk about it or something like that, or I'm actually quite knowledgeable when it comes to turning operations. I have some education in it, some experience, and well, if I'm wondering if people would be interested in having me, how to say, teach about turning. And a disclaimer, I'm not an expert. I have some education. I have studied it at school, I have been taught it, and I have some experiences of my own. So I am able to teach some of what I know. So if people would be interested, I could talk about, well, how to run the lathe, different kinds of... One thing that I am thinking about making a video about is lathe turning tools, about mainly about probably brazed carbide tools, because when I started out I was really confused about it, and to be honest, the videos on YouTube that I found weren't really helpful at all. They discouraged me a lot. So if people would be interested in these kinds of videos, I would more than gladly make educational videos teaching and talking about how to run a lathe and different turning operations. And yeah, but the disclaimer is that I'm not an expert, even though I have some education in it, and the education and experience I have revolves mainly around Soviet lathes, Soviet machines, Soviet equipment, and Soviet tooling. So if you're more interested in American lathe or something like that, I don't know, then this is probably not the right place for you. But yeah, I think I've gone on rambling long enough, and well, I actually don't know what else to say. I am actually mostly wanting to know in the comments of this video what people will be interested in seeing. I know there were 2 comments on the last video wondering where the GAS52 was, and well, it's here, and probably nothing's going to happen to it for a long time, a couple of months at least. So yeah, I'm mainly hoping to get some ideas on what people would be interested in seeing, and well, go on from there. Well, thank you at least for watching, and if you're interested, please, I am really interested in how to say, ideas on what to make videos, on what people would like to see. Well, anyway, I'm just rambling now. Thank you for watching, and yeah, see you next time.